Hey guys, Zettia here with another World of Warships ship spotlight brought to you by TheMittaniTV.com. Today we're going to take a look at a ship that is loved by most IJN captains. The Myoko has to be one of the best cruisers in the Japanese lines. We're going to go over the history of the ship as well as give you some tips and tricks when using it in game. The Myoko has a fairly long war history, and one of the first of 4 heavy cruisers built by the Japanese in the late 1920s. She was also the first heavy cruiser built by a country that would have to follow design restrictions placed on her by the Washington Naval Treaty. Like many ships built in this time frame, she required many refits and upgrades, but when war broke out, she would be right there on the front lines. While most of the Japanese fleet was involved in Pearl Harbor, the Myoko and her sister ships first saw action during the invasion of Philippines. They supported ground troops as they fought to expand Japanese-controlled territory. The Myoko would eventually clash with U.S. forces during the Battle of Solomon Islands. She, along with her fleet, would try to reinforce Japanese forces by providing shore bombardment on the U.S.-controlled Henderson Field. Japanese forces failed, and she later helped evacuate the remaining troops. The Myoko would see light combat throughout the rest of World War II, until the Battle of Leyte Gulf, where her duties as a frontline warship would come to an end. She was operating with the Japanese Center Force, and in the early Battle of Leyte Gulf, the fleet was spotted by U.S. aircraft. The battle was on. During the fight, most of the damage was directed at the battleship Musashi, but the Myoko managed to take a torpedo in the stern, and a number of her propellers were damaged. She broke away from the fleet, making her way back to Singapore for repairs. While en route, a U.S. sub spotted her, hitting her with a number of additional torpedoes. The Myoko had to be towed back to port by her destroyer escort. When she returned to Singapore, there were not enough supplies to repair her, so the Japanese Navy decided to keep her as a floating AA battery. The Myoko was attacked by a number of times in her new role, but she was never sunk and made it to the end of the war. Although a survivor, it was determined that she was too badly damaged to be repaired, so the British scuttled her. Alright guys, let's take a little bit of a look at gameplay. As I said in the intro, the Myoko is one of the most loved IJN cruisers in the game, and it is a huge upgrade over its predecessors, the Furitaka and the Aoba. Let's start by looking at its offensive capabilities. You now have 10 203mm cannons that can pack a punch. When using the 203s, you have to make sure that you are using the right ammo for the right situation. The Myoko can Citadel cruisers of similar and lower tiers, but for everything else, you want to tend to use HE ammo. You will still have to plan ahead when bringing your guns to bear on a target. The turret rotate time is like any other Japanese cruiser, slow and slightly disappointing. If you really feel that the guns are lackluster and not enough for you, I have good news. The ship also comes equipped with torpedoes, and in the second hull configuration, you'll have 2 racks per side, sporting torps that can travel 62 knots and have a range of 10k. Now, the negative on this ship is that it is fairly long and easy to citadel, so you have to have a lot of situational awareness. If you can, remember to angle your ship and plink away at targets from range. But if they get too close, break out those torps and make them pay. One of the biggest things the Myoko has going for it is its concealment, and I use that to my advantage. In fact, I even use the camo that decreases your detectability, better known as the salad camo. This is a common practice among captains using this ship, as well as other IJN cruisers up the line. As far as upgrades, I use the main battery mod 1, the AA upgrade, damage control, and acceleration mod. The ship is fairly flexible. Choose the upgrades that work best for your playstyle. To wrap things up, this ship is simply great, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time in it. In fact, I was slightly disappointed to notice that I was just about out of it. Normally I would tell you to keep a ship this good, but this time I'm telling you to sell it. The only reason is because the ARP Myoko challenge is out, and upon completion, you'll earn yourself a beautiful pink Myoko. Well guys, thanks again for checking out this ship spotlight. I appreciate your ongoing support of the World of Warships videos. As always, don't forget to head over to TheMittani.com and check out our latest in gaming, news, articles, and entertainment. Thanks again, enjoy the grind, and have a great day.